Welcome to Hearts of Iron 4, trying out the Black Ice mod. If you haven't seen my previous video on what the Black Ice mod has changed so far, let me then just preface by saying that this is a legendary mod from Hearts of Iron 3 and this is then the Hearts of Iron 4 version of it. And in Hearts of Iron 3 it added a ton of depth and difficulty, and currently for Hearts of Iron 4 it is at a very early stage of development. It is by no means done and everything is subject to change, so if you're watching this at a later date then it has probably changed quite a bit from what you will see right now. And let me just preface this also, by the way, by saying that this will be a somewhat short playthrough playing as Franz, and due to the mod having changed quite a bit and thus being more difficult than the base game, I'm assuming that we will lose, but overall this will be a learning together, so we'll be trying to learn together. If you notice one thing that I'm missing or you have a tip or anything like that, then by all means write it in the comment below so I can learn and everyone else can learn together. So we will start off now by organizing France, I suppose. And France is at, let's just say, a precarious situation now at January the 1st, 1936. By having a disjointed government, we have only 30% in national unity. We only have 6 military factories and everything in the country is pretty much in disarray. The military doesn't have enough equipment at all. Production of equipment is non-existent in some regards, and there's no way for us to really recruit new units, at least in the first year or so, I believe. But first we will start by organizing our research here. And I'm playing on normal difficulty, so we will have a 5% malice to research as well, the normal difficulty dictates in this mod. And here we will, well, what will we start with? We can start with light infantry equipment here to improve our, well, I suppose light infantry and allow light infantry units to exist. Then we will jump all the way over to engineering and start with electronic mechanical engineering and then industry to get basic machine tools, which we haven't really gotten so far yet. So France is a little backwards at this point. France also has a big malice to, I suppose it is right here, Victors of the Great War, that reduces our recruitable population, and also land doctrine research time, plus 75%. So we will avoid land doctrine, for the moment at least, and try to focus on some other things. We can't even get basic light artillery, because that's 3 years away. But we can get anti-tanks, so we will start researching on that. We should probably also get construction, because we will need to construct quite a few factories in our lifespan. And beyond that, what can we do more? This is 2 years away, the next fighter, so we'll probably avoid that. France has generic armor, so far at least, so we will have to use our, cavalry tanks or infantry tanks. We don't really have a specialized tree like Germany has so far. Germany has all their own versions of tanks, and so does the Soviets, the British and the US, and I'm assuming, the French will get some specialized stuff in the future. But as I mentioned, the mod is at an early stage of development. So things will change. At least the naval part we are somewhat advanced in, I would hope. Even though naval doctrine won't really do us much good against the hellish armies of Germany, which we'll need to defend ourselves against. But we need one more thing to research. And I think we will try to get some help when it comes to air. So let's go for that. And we have quite a few research being put up. Here we have construction. And as interesting as it would be to go for these ones, we really need more military factories. Because what I've understood from these was that when I started out, I've tried to play a bit of France to get my bearings on it. And I, immediately like, oh, light aircraft factories, sounds great. Because I assumed that they would go into the slot for, well, light aircraft and, be more productive that way. But they do not add military factories in that way, not production-wise. I think they lower the cost of the various items by a certain amount, but I'm not sure exactly by how much. So instead of going for these, which are unsafe for now, let's just get more military factories across the country. And then we will need to set a national focus. And we have a choice here. I think, we have quite a few choices really of what to start with. But since we need more development, we can choose either by going for buffing up Algeria or going by Indochina. And Algeria is by this time period an integrated part of France, as much France as metropolitan France, if I know my French history correctly. Meanwhile, Indochina is a bit less safe due to the expanding power that is Japan. So at least if we fall against Germany, it doesn't really matter if we have Algeria or if we have Indochina. But if we win against Germany, then we might still lose Indochina, while Algeria here is safe. So for that reason, going for Algeria will be a fairly decent idea. These add up in total almost the same. This actually adds 5 civilian factories. And this one adds 5. Well, this one adds 4. Okay, so let's go for metropolitan France, and we will do this in tandem, so we can get them started. We have no divisions in basic training at the moment, and we won't really add them due to, well, this being the case. If we look here, we have 6 factories. Even if we remove 1 more here, then we can get some planes being produced. But still we can produce this type of plane or this one. And since this one is a bomber, I believe, the Amiot. The Amiot is a medium bomber. We will not focus on that one at the moment. Because what we need is stuff for our military, to get our military up to fighting strength. And then also get fighters so we can protect our own territory. We have to limit and focus ourselves. Currently we have a missing equipment production of uniforms, boots and helmets, but that will be increased much more by us losing or needing many more things. But I will add it to the top here so it will get a factory, at least I hope so, instead of this one. Or maybe that is too late then. Or maybe it will change at the end of the day. Either way, uniforms, boots, helmets will be a top priority because our military needs it. We have an oil deficit, but other than that we are doing fairly well on resources due to our substantial colonial holdings. So we will import some oil from America and then let time pass. And here why is this added in? I never unlocked this, but apparently it added itself. I'm not too big a fan of this because it's a bit too jarring, the whole light to dark side, especially when it sweeps over that way, and if you're playing at a higher speed, then I don't know, it doesn't look too great, at least not in my opinion, so I like to have it off. It's just easier for me to play that way. So yeah, we currently have a holy shit missing equipment production of everything in the universe. But we can add them in, and then as soon as we get factories done, we will add factories to them. Small lays and vehicles we are needing. Good, okay, so we will add that. We will need basic HQ equipment, there we go, and we will add that to the top because that's fairly important. And we will have medium artillery. Wait, do we have mountain warfare? Mountain equipment, mountain warfare equipment. There we go. And what else do we need? We need horse artillery transport, we need garrison maintenance. We will add that. Do we need support equipment? No, we already have that. Medium artillery. Let's go for medium artillery. Medium artillery, and we also need, besides medium artillery, we need heavy artillery. Well, fair enough. If you need one, you probably need the other. And then we have motorcycle equipment. Well then, let's find the motorcycles. Motorized motorcycle. There are motorcycle equipment, done. I mean, it feels like we've added a million things and still we need 500,000 more. Horse artillery transport. So we need some horses to be produced. There we go, horse artillery, and then we need artillery truck transport. There we go, and we need artillery prime transport. Prime mover, I mean. Just because of that, they changed the last word. Armored car units. There we go, armored car units. And then finally we need some tankettes, and there we will find here. Okay, now we have everything added up. So when the factories are done in the production here, they will be added to the slots immediately since they are requesting one. And in the meanwhile we will keep the speed fairly high and then try to organize ourselves. And here we have tank factories and, well, here we have Green Army Command. So if you have under a certain amount of HQ equipment, you will get an overall, bonus, or in this case a negative. So since we have dropped below 2,000 pieces of HQ equipment, we'll get a green army command, which grants division organization minus 10% and planning speed minus 10%, and also increase division training by 8%. And if we have over, I believe, 8,000 or something like that, we will get the trained army command, and then, you can go all the way to the veteran army command. I don't know the bonus for that, but I'm assuming it's pretty good. And now we have the ability to build one tank factory per state. The more tank factories you construct, the more unique tank factory national focus options unlock. Use the special tank factory national focus to gain a 100% blah blah blah. Tank factory technology levels, each level will give a reduction in unit IC costs. Yeah, so... okay, that's interesting. So I was almost right. I hope. Oh well, now we have that as well. So let's now try to organize our army. Here we have the Division d'Infanterie. We have quite a few of those, so we will get the northern ones. Here, and I suppose... no, this one will be for something else. And they will be added to the Maginot Line. Wait, I was going to get these as well. These will also be added to the Maginot Line. And they will protect the Maginot Line as well. We could also rename them to the Maginot Army. Probably should do that as well. Maginot Army. If only I knew the French word for army. But it doesn't matter, we don't really need a commander for it yet. I mean, war is 3 years away and we need to prepare, and we need to prepare big time. Here against the nefarious Italians, which you cannot trust. In this game you cannot trust Italians. Even though, don't get me wrong, Italians, I love Italy, and I look forward to going back there. But in this game, you can't trust Mussolini. And we will have the barest necessity of troops to protect the border. We don't really need much more. So in the mountain regions here of Savoy, we will have our mountaineer troops, or the Division d'Infanterie Alpine. And you can see here, by waiting for equipment to be produced and delivered, a lot of things. So they are missing quite a few things, which gives their current fighting strength at 73%. So yeah, we need to get going and producing all the things we might need. Here we even have another Alpine unit, which is standing in Montpellier for some reason. Well, let's add that up, and he can move downwards. Preparation for Winter Olympic Games in Garmisch-Partenkirchen, Bavaria, in the enemy's territory. But we will probably send a few people, hopefully it will go well. And they will... already has attrition. Why? Well, he's in mountains, I suppose that makes sense. Maybe it's because he's moving around in mountains. Okay, so now he doesn't have it. So that's good. So these units then will be added up into Italian Defense Force, I suppose. Oh. What is this music? Interesting. It was so long ago since I got this music for some reason. I barely recognize it. So yeah, now we have the Italian front secured and we have the Maginot Line secured. Time is ticking away, but we don't need to bother. Not much will change. And we will take the remaining units that we have left. Oh. Wait, remilitarization of the Rhineland, we didn't even get a choice. Well, I suppose you don't always get a choice. Last time I got a choice by, well, do we want to attack Germany? And I think there was a communist would stage a coup or whatever. It was very dangerous. It's like you could go to war against Germany, but you would have a civil war on your hand, and you would be heavily outnumbered. Okay, so let's go for industrial expansion, just so we can get as quickly as possible to some more military factories. And then do the same for Algeria, so we can get Algerian military factories. And then we could also get oil. So all of that. There's also, there's various strategies you could put in here, various tactics on how to deal with Germany, or what to do first with France to get ahead. I value those military factories because France starts with so few military factories, let's just say. But you could go with government reform, support the status quo, go with Britain, and then go all the way to defensive stratagem to remove the national focus of, or national spirit of disjointed government. And there's value in getting that, because disjointed government is quite crippling. When you research or when you get a national focus, you get no political power at all, pretty much. So that is very limiting. So while we're doing that, we can't really get anything else, which is a shame. That's a darn shame. Especially when we already lose 10% due to difficulty normal player. But oh well, we will suffice. How's it going with the military factories? We've gotten a few now, actually. Now we have 8 military factories. It's by no means enough to produce everything that we might need. I mean, currently we have just started producing some more fighters. Maybe we should focus on getting those kind of fighters up again, or instead. Electronic mechanical engineering, so we got done with our first research, and I would suggest going for mechanical computing immediately. So yeah, if you're interested in this mod, I will add the link to the mod in the description below, or you could just go into the workshop, search for Black Eyes in one word, and it should be the first thing to pop up in the search result. And if you do choose to give the mod a shot, then by all means, please let me know all the attempts you do and the stories there. I would, mods like these that add a lot of complexity to game. To learn them is pretty much like learning the game from the beginning. If you're new to Hearts of Paradox games in general. Oh wait, we have a strike here. Crap, so our output of factories will be lowered for 90 days, which is not very good. Then when you start playing them, you will lose a lot, and losing is kind of part of learning, so you have to try it, and then you probably lose, and then try it again, and probably lose, and so forth, until you really catch a grip of it, and you've learned the basic mechanics enough to be successful. And it's kind of the same thing here. Like, I don't know what will happen at a war, for example. I don't know the events that will occur. I don't know if Germany will be extremely strong, or, I don't know anything about that part, really. But it will be kind of the learning experience. You try here, you try your best, you try to figure out a way to strategize, and then you probably lose, and you start again, and you try to learn from time to time. And that's the best way of learning the game anyway. Okay, so here we have election, communist in government, and we have 2 choices. And we can lower our base national unity by 5%, and we are already quite low. Or we could let the communists grow 10% in popularity. Currently the communists are at 30%. So I think I will rather have them 40% than lower national unity even further. So hopefully we can fix the national unity going forward, but it's pretty difficult to get up. Especially now when we're not focusing on the government reform. So yeah, if you're in any way interested in this mod, just download it and try it. The worst that can happen is that you lose. And then you can decide after that if it was worth the time or not. And if so, then try again. Or if not, well, you can just uninstall the mod and you haven't really lost more than a little bit of time. But it is an intriguing mod, and as soon as it gets more development and more depth, I'm sure that it will be even more interesting to play. And now we get done with the industrial factory expansion and going for the military factories right there. So that will be helpful. We have quite a few of these ones that have... Can we get any information on them? What they actually include? They are... Well, fine, we will go into this way then. No, wait, it's a different one. It's the X. Is it this one? It one has a light infantry tank, light tank, motorized infantry, armored car, and motorcycle recon company. I'm not too certain about this division overall. Some of them probably would be better to just turn into regular infantry divisions to begin with. It would be less things to produce, and we could be an infantry focused army by adding anti-tank eventually to our infantry and see if that improves the situation. which it probably will. Oh yeah, I forgot to add these ones a front line, but they will have that, and hopefully they won't change. No, they won't, because there's no need for it. Now we got a lot of technology done, so we can add new technology, which is always nice. Home defense will be a thing that is nice to have. And then when we have this done, we could go for either concentrated industry or dispersed industry. Dispersed industry is nice, even though... Yeah, this is... we already have some research over here, so we probably go for concentrated industry for this one. And then we could start with these already, but they are a bit ahead of time, so there's not a massive point to it. What we could go for is desert warfare. No, amphibious warfare would be an interesting suggestion. But other than that, we could go flamethrower, but I don't even know what it does. So we could go with recon infantry equipment instead. That seems like a better idea. And here we don't really have much to add. The French Air Force cannot get any more, or different kinds of things.